These people are trying to tell us how to run our business, driving business out of existence.
Unions are coming back. People are getting fed up with corporate America taking away benefits, reducing jobs to part-time jobs. It's time to put a stop to it.
They are killing the goose that lays the golden egg.
Union membership is at a historic low in the United States, but 61% of Americans say they do approve of unions.
So what is a union exactly, and where do they come from? Unions come from the idea that when people come together, they have more power.
Mackerel and other small prey have evolved a cunning strategy, coming together by the tens of thousands.
The theory is that if you have the numbers, your employer is forced to listen to you and to respond to your demands. That's called collective bargaining. Unions are responsible for a lot of things we're all pretty familiar with. The 40-hour work week, outlawing child labor, wage increases.
The age-long curse of child labor has been lifted, and millions of wage earners released from starvation wages and excessive hours of labor.
An employer-provided health care. But they didn't get these benefits without a fight. In the late 19th and 20th centuries, labor unions started organizing massive strikes over different worker complaints.
The big event that sort of defines this period is the 1877 railroad strike, which is the first national labor rebellion in American history. More than 100 workers are shot dead across the country in what is a 2-week rebellion.
From that time on, local unions started popping up in all the major cities in the US.
We now take totally for granted 9 to 5 is the workday. That took people fighting and dying in the streets in places like Chicago to win that demand.
When the Great Depression hit, workers started organizing more efficiently and formed stronger unions than ever before. By 1937, there was enough political momentum to pass the Fair Labor Standards Act, which created a federal mandate for a shorter work week and established benefits like overtime pay.
We're in the money. We're in the money. Union membership peaked around World War II. At that time, around 1/3 of American employees were a part of labor unions.
There's a huge explosion of pent-up frustration among the working class, and we have the greatest strike wave in the history of this country. So at that moment, we reached the absolute peak of labor organizing.
These massive strikes led to public panic. People feared unions had become too powerful and needed to be checked.
I'm against the strikes. I'm against unions. I think they're run by a bunch of racketeers.
What capitalists often say about this is unions disrupt the individual relationship between employer and worker. And what they do is they use the passage of the Taft-Hartley Act in 1947 to, in effect, undercut and undermine the gains that the labor movement made.
These former laws were written on sound principles to correct excessive power formerly exercised by employers.
The labor movement and labor unions do best when they speak for the larger needs of the society. And they go into decline when they hunker down, pull in their horns, and try to protect the gains that they've won only without seeing the larger context.
So where are we now? Union membership is down. Today, only 10% of workers are part of unions. But some white-collar workers are realizing the power of joining unions. Union membership in professional and technical jobs grew by nearly 90,000 people last year.
Workplace exploitation is not limited to the factory line. It's happening everywhere, and I think we're finally catching on.